Section 2. Presidential Reconstruction. As the Civil War ended, people in the United States had sharply different views about how to rebuild the Southern states and bring them back into the Union. This period of time came to be called Reconstruction. Reconstruction, the period of time after the Civil War in which Southern states were rebuilt and brought back into the Union. For President Andrew Johnson, a Southerner from Tennessee, Reconstruction had two major aims. First, Southern states had to create new governments that were loyal to the Union and that respected federal authority. Second, slavery had to be abolished once and for all. These aims left many issues to be resolved to find a solution for. For example, who would control the new state governments in the South? Former Confederates? Would freed slaves have the same rights as other citizens? And what would the relationship be between freed slaves and former slave owners? Many Republicans in Congress believed that strong measures would be needed to settle these issues. To them, Reconstruction meant nothing less than a complete remaking of the South based on equal rights and a free labor economy. The stage was set for a battle over the control and even the meaning of Reconstruction. President Johnson's Reconstruction Plan. In May 1865, President Johnson announced his Reconstruction Plan. A former Confederate state could rejoin the Union once it had written a new state constitution, elected a new state government, repealed its act of secession, and canceled its war debts. There was a final requirement as well. Every Southern state had to ratify the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery throughout the United States. 13th Amendment, a change to the Constitution, ratified in 1865, abolishing slavery in the United States. By the fall of 1865, every Southern state had met the President's requirements. The 13th Amendment became part of the Constitution. Presidential Reconstruction had begun. The Freedmen's Bureau. For former slaves, called freedmen, the freedom guaranteed by the 13th Amendment brought problems as well as opportunities. Frederick Douglass described the freed man as free from the individual master, but a slave of society. Douglass wrote, "He had neither money, property, nor friends. He was free from the old plantation, but he had nothing but the dusty road under his feet. He was turned loose, naked, hungry, and destitute, penniless, to the open sky." To assist former slaves, Congress established the Freedmen's Bureau in March 1865. Freedmen's Bureau, an agency established by Congress at the end of the Civil War to help and protect newly freed Black Americans. Over the next 4 years, the Bureau provided food and medical care to both blacks and whites in the South. It helped freedmen arrange for wages and good working conditions. It also distributed some land in 40-acre plots to loyal refugees and freedmen. Some whites, however, attacked the Bureau as an example of Northern interference in the South. Ultimately, the hope of many freedmen for 40 acres and a mule died when Congress refused to take land away from Southern whites. The most lasting benefit of the Freedmen's Bureau was in education. Thousands of former slaves, both young and old, flocked to free schools built by the Bureau. Long after the Bureau was gone, such institutions as Howard University in Washington, D.C., continued to provide educational opportunities for African Americans. Black Codes. As new state governments took power in the South, many Republicans in Congress were alarmed to see that they were headed by the same people who had led the South before the war, wealthy white planters. Once in office, these leaders began passing laws known as Black Codes to control their former slaves. Black Codes, laws passed in 1865 and 1866 in the former Confederate states to limit the rights and freedoms of African Americans. These Black Codes served 3 purposes. The first was to limit the rights of freedmen. Generally, the former slaves received the rights to marry, to own property, to work for wages, and to sue in court, but they did not have other rights of citizenship. Blacks, for example, could not vote or serve on juries in the South. The second purpose of Black Codes was to help planters find workers to replace their slaves. The codes required freedmen to work. Those without jobs could be arrested and hired out to planters. The codes also limited freedmen to farming or jobs requiring few skills. African Americans could not enter most trades or start businesses. The third purpose of black codes was to keep freedmen at the bottom of the social order in the South. Most codes called for the segregation of blacks and whites in public places. Okay, so this is where you pause, work on the questions on page 8 and the top of page 9, and then start again when you're ready to see the official book answers. All right, page 8, number 1. What were President Johnson's two major aims for Reconstruction? Circle the aim that was achieved by the 13th Amendment. Southern states had to create new governments that were loyal to the Union and respected federal authority. Slavery had to be abolished. You should circle the second one because that's achieved by the 13th Amendment. Number 2. Who established the Freedmen's Bureau and what was its purpose? List 3 activities of the Bureau that helped it carry out its purpose. Congress established the Freedmen's Bureau to assist former slaves. Now, the official book answer lists all the things that it did. You only need 3. It provided food, provided medical care, helped freedmen arrange for wages and good working conditions, distributed land, and provided public education. Number 3. Complete the chart to show how new Southern states limited African Americans in the South. The purpose of black codes, the first one was to limit the rights of freedmen. The second was to help planters find workers to replace their slaves. And the third was to keep freedmen at the bottom of the social order in the South. An example of how they were limited their rights was that blacks could not vote or serve on juries. An example of helping the planters find workers was freedmen were required to work, or they could be arrested and hired out to planters. They were limited to farm work and other low-skill jobs. And to keep freedmen at the bottom of the social order in the South, blacks and whites were segregated in public places. Go ahead and complete the chart at the top of page 9 on your own, and then when everybody's done, we'll take a look at it together as a class on the smartboard.